just seen you come in.
Did they?
Yeah.
Too bad for them.
Both of them.
Both of them. Yeah, buddy. You got this one.
What's up, everybody? The Obsession Podcast back at you. I'm Mike Stather.
I'm Carl Bethke.
How's it going, Karl?
Yeah, pretty good, Mike.
What do you know?
I know it's the end of the year, my friend.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. Yeah. Well, hey, 5 for 5.
5 for 5.
Yeah.
5 for 5.
Nice. Nice. Heck, you got like 8 or 15 this year, something like that.
That sounds pretty much made up.
Okay, it might be a little bit.
It might be a little stretched at the end part of
the 15.
The body part.
Oh, okay.
Could be right on.
Yeah, we're in there. I got a question here. I had never asked you this before.
Wow.
And this comes from Kevin from Missouri, and I'm like, heck, that's a pretty good question. So, Mike, in your opinion, what age group of bucks is the hardest to harvest when hunting big bucks when bow hunting? What's the hardest age group to hunt? I think it's probably pretty common. Yeah, you're so stressed out, you put it down on the ground right there. Jeez.
I mean, the hardest age group.
Everybody considers this. This is what I'm going to throw this out to you first, and then you think about, tell me what you really think. But everybody's like, oh, mature bucks,
Yeah.
Mature bucks. Well, what do people call mature bucks? Well, that varies. Yeah. But, if you watch the TV shows, 5.5, 6.5-year-old, according to all the studies, biggest racks. Not always true.
Yeah,
but
I have an opinion.
Yeah, good.
So,
That's hard to believe.
Weird. So I'm going to say, in my opinion, probably a 3.5-year-old. And people are going to be like, what? And this is what I'm going to tell you. So, in my opinion, when a buck gets to be 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, because it's science, it's facts.
Yep. They
pick an area where they stay. They don't vary from it very much at that point.
No.
So they're there. You start getting a lot more pictures or sightings of them, things like that.
Yeah, their core area shrinks.
Yeah, the core area shrinks significantly. That's a biology fact.
Yep.
Which we've proved with our deer. So I think if you can get one that can stay in your property that long, you can watch them, I think they become a little bit more predictable and easier to hunt. Are they bigger and smarter? Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah.
I think the 3.5-year-olds are harder, myself, because I think they move a lot. They're ranging.
Yeah, they're random.
I already think that they're just as smart as a 4.5-year-old.
Yeah. I think
they challenge 4.5-year-olds.
Oh, yeah.
They're already a 3.5-year-old buck, and I know you'll say yours is at its prime.
Yeah.
In its life.
Yeah.
They're physically the strongest.
Yeah.
They might not be the biggest bodied, but
they're like that 18 to 24-year-old dude who's got his hormones.
They
all
feel
cranked
invincible
up.
at that point in their life. They are jacked up and ready to go.
Yeah.
See.
Archer's jacked up.
Hey, shut up, Archer.
Yeah, he get his last word in.
So I mean that's what I feel like. I mean, we go after a lot of 3.5-year-old bucks. People, I don't care what you say, but we do. They're a hard animal to hunt. They're a 3.5-year-old buck, and this is whitetail biologists. You can read it, look it up. Are already at 90% of their antler growth.
Yep. 80 to 90%.
It's a fact.
Yep.
So you can say, they're going to form it, but it's true. It's true. They're really close. Can they get bigger? They sure can.
Yep. Yeah.
Will they all? No.
Here's a concept for you. So 80 to 90%. So they say 4.5 is almost 95%, right? And they say the 5.5 is that 98 to 100%, whatever, you know. Well, think about that. So 98%. Let's say you got 150-inch deer and it's 98%. Well, what's he going to gain? One or 2 inches? 152. And at 3.5, he was 148.
Yep.
So, there's a couple inches for you. I get it.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Well, you never know. That could be something important. all day long, all day. That's short.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
No, I agree with you 100%. 3.5-year-old bucks are the hardest to hunt on the ground set. Number one, they're very unpredictable. But number two, they're educated enough to be smart. A lot of guys, like you were saying, will say, well, 3.5-year-old deer, imagine what he'd be at 4.5. 3.5-year-old deer's got a good rack on him, especially where we're hunting in our area. Yep. If you've got good nutrition, anywhere in the Midwest, 3.5-year-old deer, depending on their genetics, can range from 110 inches, in my opinion, all the way up to 170. And we get some pretty good ones here in southern Wisconsin.
Yep.
Because they roam so much and because they are so smart, that is why the percentages are, there's more of them than the older class deer.
Yeah.
So that's probably why more of them get shot, because your percentages are higher because there's physically more animals at that age group. You know, and you guys can talk age group stuff all you want. I'm not going to get involved in it in this podcast.
Nope.
But the question Kevin asked us is the hardest, and we believe 3.5-year-old deer. 4.5-year-old deer, as soon as their core area starts to shrink, your percentages go up 100%. And this deer hunting game, I don't care what anybody says, it's mathematical. It's just your percentages become higher at certain points, and you make those chances. You know, so 3.5-year-old deer, if there's more of them, even though they're smart and they're moving consistently around in different areas, you have a higher percentage chance of hunting that or shooting one.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you look at a couple of deer that we shot this year. Kevin Hook.
Yep.
I don't know how old he is.
I don't know how old he is either.
3.5.
I think he's 3.5
for sure.
Deer. Yeah.
You know, so was around the property a lot.
Yep.
Was there a lot, but was erratic.
Yeah.
This end, that end.
Yep.
All over the place.
Yeah, on the entire property.
The entire property, you know, and that's just the 70 that Karl has.
Yeah.
So who knows where he was other than that, the days he wasn't there.
Right.
You know, obviously was finally ended up able to take him.
Right.
But deer we're after, hard deer to kill.
Yep.
You look at here, Whitey.
Yeah.
I narrowed that deer down because maybe he's a 4.5. I don't know.
Yeah.
3.5 for sure. Maybe he's 4.5. But I knew where that deer was because he showed me all the time. He stayed in one area. He roamed it.
Yep.
He was only on the other end of my property, and that's a 40 one time.
Yeah.
That I had him on camera, and we seen him the same time.
Well, that reminds me of the landlord. He was the same way.
Same way. He sat on this one specific area. That's where he traveled. You know, I did not kill that deer. I had opportunities, but the shots I didn't like. You know, and Whitey, when I got the opportunity, was dead.
Oh, yeah.
I had him 4 times in bow range, 3 times before that with no tag.
Yeah.
And I just knew that deer. And I think he was maybe an older deer, but he stuck to his little area more and didn't roam as much, which saves a lot of those deer, but not always.
Yeah, we see it a lot on our properties all the time with our trail cameras, you guys. And we'll show you a couple pictures here, but you know, the landlord that we were just talking about, Mike's property, that deer was 5.5, 6.5 years old. Yeah. Stayed on this west side of his property. I think the few years you had him on the property, you had one picture of him on the east side? One.
Yeah, and I had 3 years of him from campsite down.
Yeah.
Just that edge.
And this is a 40-acre piece.
That's that edge.
That's where he stayed.
Yeah.
No different than my property. 911 stayed on the east side of the property, never on the west and never on the top. Not one picture of him up there. And how many cameras we run in, between the two of us, we're running 30, 40 cameras on 110 acres. So we're seeing stuff, you know. We have deer that stay on the south end, deer that stay on the north end. They never cross. They might go the full width of our property, but they never go north and south. And same vice versa, east, west, but they go full length north and south. You know, so it's kind of weird, but once you figure out the older age class deer, if that's what you're out hunting, and that's kind of what Kevin's alluding to, is the older age class deer, their core area shrinks, and it does. It becomes easier for you to hunt those deer. Double fork that John killed, that 8.5-year-old down at the brother-in-law's. Mm-hmm. First time we ever, and he's got 170 acres now, and that deer would be on the entire 170, and when he got killed, he was narrowed down to a 40-acre spot. He never left it. All of bow season, all of gun season. Yep. And that's where he got killed.
Right.
So same type of deal. So that's what we think. 3.5-year-olds are definitely the hard animals to kill, just because they're unpredictable.
Yeah, they're like an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, pretty
just
much.
Think of yourself when you were 18.
Yeah, running around wanting to bang everything.
Yeah, we're still alive.
Yeah.
I don't know how that worked out. But.
Well, it's questionable.
It is.
So, hopefully that answered your question, Kevin. We appreciate the question. If you guys get a chance and you want to check us out on just the podcast, you can check us out at Google,
iHeart,
Apple,
Amazon,
RSS.com.
Check our pretty faces out.
Right here on YouTube.
Yeah, buddy.